Hello and happy 4th of July. As has become a bit of an annual tradition for me, I'm going to talk about what makes me hopeful this 4th of July. You know, what makes me proud to be an American. I think at a time where that can be a complicated thing. It's not always easy, I think, to be proud of ourselves right now. And I think there are a lot of issues that our generation is aware of and grappling with. And so I both want to highlight three things that are giving me hope and sort of buoying me going into this weekend. And one thing, as always, that we still really need to tackle, and that should be on the front of our minds. So yeah, let's get into it. First one, when I did this last year, we were in the midst of the George Floyd protests, you know, and we had seen this example of injustice, and it was hard. And one of the things that's given me hope right now is that at least in Washington State, our elected officials listen to us, and they passed 12 police accountability bills this legislative session that I think really attack the root of this problem. And so a couple of the bills that I'll highlight are HB 1267, which created a new Office of Investigations for each use of deadly force. I think that is exactly the type of tangible action that a lot of us who are out protesting in the streets really wanted to see. The other one that I'll highlight is SB 5051. This makes it easier to decertify police officers who have committed a crime. You know, we know now that Derek Chauvin, the officer who murdered George Floyd, had prior complaints against him, right? That these things are not always out of the blue. They're frequently not. And so I think making it easier to decertify officers who've committed a crime is hopefully going to go a long way to making sure that folks who are employed by the state and have the ability to use force are not people who are going to misuse that force in a deadly way. And I just want to give a huge shout out to State Senator Jamie Pedersen, Representative Nicole Macri, and Representative Chop. They are the elected officials who I think were at the forefront of really fighting for these police accountability measures. And when I heard their wrap up of the legislative session, I was honestly a little bit in awe of the tangible work that they had done. And so just huge shout out to them for seeing these protests, and huge shout out to everybody who protested. So that's the first one. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional talking about that. I think it was a long, hard summer of protests, and I'm really hopeful that these measures are going to save lives and are going to make policing more just. Okay. The second one is we're combating COVID. You know, we sort of a tangent from that, but we elected Joe Biden as president. We would be in such a worse place right now relating to COVID infection rates and COVID deaths if Joe Biden was not president and had not been able to wrangle a team that is able to take on the seemingly insurmountable task of getting the country vaccinated. Where do we stand right now? Well, as of July 2nd, 66.8% of adults have received at least one shot. 64% of those 12 and up have also received at least one shot. Now, that is just shy of the 70% goal that Biden had set for July 4th. I still feel really good about that. I think that rate is trending in the right direction. This is a massive lift, and I'm happy to see that we are well past the 50% threshold. Lives are being saved. To that, COVID death rates are right now at about 0.1% or less. We are at about 14,000 cases per day, which is down 94% from our peak in January, and down 6% from even the previous week. So, you know, have we snapped our fingers and made this thing go away? No, but are we each day, each week, each month trending in a really good direction, a better direction. Yeah, and I'm about to go, I think, see some friends and some family for the 4th of July without masks, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good. So I'm really happy about that. And the one maybe note that I'll put on the end of that is there are other countries that are in really bad shape right now due to the Delta variant, and I just want to make sure that as we're kind of getting our own house in order, that we're looking to them, and that we're also going, okay, how can we leverage our resources to make sure that they are in as good of a place as we are. Okay, let's see. The last one is is an organization that I've sort of become familiar with over the past year, the Pike Market Food Bank. I just wanted to highlight that I think during COVID, when we were all focused on this kind of all-consuming problem, I think the Pike Market Food Bank kept trucking along and kept bringing groceries to over 120 people every week. That's to say nothing for their walk-up service, where folks can come and get a no-cook, no-prep bag of food, free of charge, obviously. And so I think the Pike Market Food Bank is a great example of an organization locally that is helping tackle a tangible problem. People who are experiencing hunger, and I think it does it effectively. I think it does it with dignity. Yeah, and so that gives me a lot of hope. Man, sorry, I'm almost getting a little emotional talking about that too. Jeez, it's almost like it's been a rough 18 months. I don't know. But yeah, so I think those are three things that are giving me a lot of hope this 4th of July, and are making me genuinely proud to be an American. And again, that's not in an uncomplicated way. Not that there are not systemic racism and sexism and other things that we have to grapple with. But I think we can be exhausted. I can be exhausted if we just live in the suck. And so I think it can be really nice. It can be helpful for myself to look around and kind of look for the organizations and the people that are doing good and that are trying to make our institutions, our society more just, more peaceful, more pleasant to be in. Yeah. So the main thing that I'll kind of highlight that we obviously still need to tackle is climate change. I think we have so many elected officials in the Republican Party who still don't believe in climate change, or at least outwardly they say they don't believe in climate change. What they think when they go to bed, who knows? But we just came off the 2 or 3 hottest days in the history of this state. Portland, Canada, Canada is having fires up there right now, and and these are that's one microcosm of the way that climate change is real and is coming for us now. And I don't have a silver bullet, obviously, but I think we need to tell our elected officials that any infrastructure package, it needs to include renewable energy, measures to move us in a direction away from fossil fuels. That's, of course, easier said than done, because there was a package like that on the table and the Republicans filibustered it. And so now we're looking at a more bipartisan infrastructure package, which is still important, but we're getting to the point where we need to do the thing now, right? I don't know how to do the thing, but we need to do the thing now. So I hope that's not ending on too much of a downer. I think there's nothing that we can't do when we sort of come together and level our energy towards it. But I think climate change is an existential threat to our society and our planet, and we need to treat it as such. Yeah, so again, happy 4th of July, everyone. I hope folks are able to enjoy it more this year, than we were able to last year, and just have some fun and kick back and blow off some steam. If you made it through COVID, you deserve that 100%. And yeah, so happy to see people getting vaccinated. I'm excited to see folks that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, so thank you for watching this video. Happy 4th of July. See you later.